Something bad has happened to Mom. I've left 5 messages. If she's not returning our calls or texts, it's because she can't.
Pain is at my window.
Joy Delaney, mother of 4, has gone missing.
Well, the setup for the plot is very much from the book, Apples Never Fall, that Leanne Moriarty put together. And it's basically a very loving, tight family, 4 grown kids. I'm married to Sam Neill, not a bad job. No, that was fun. I like being married to him. But there is a lot of dysfunction. And there's a lot that's happened in the past that is unresolved. And given what happens, is sort of brought to light. And all of the seething unhappiness and dysfunction of the last, how many years?
40?
40 years is unearthed.
That's too long.
How's that?
That's perfect. That is
But a
perfect.
lot of it was Melanie too, because Melanie brought so much to the writing and to the inner lives of these characters. Who is that? Who is that guy?
Me?
Somebody, I'm just hearing a little
That's Troy.
noise over
Just
here.
lobbing in.
But I have 4 amazing children, and yes, we have our dysfunction, but we really love each other.
Fabulous challenges. It was great. I'm a hardcore fan of her work have been for a long time. Her books are so rich thematically, they're rich in plot, they're rich in character. And what she gets to do, obviously, in a novel is spend time with, inner monologues or inner emotions. I would say the challenge, which was a great one, was figuring out how to take all that great, juicy inner stuff and make it externalized, make it story, make it plot. So that was number 1, and it was awesome. And also just juggling the tone that she strikes so beautifully in her books.
I play Amy Delaney on the show, and I can confidently say that we fell into a bit of a family dynamic while shooting this show. We have a couple group text chains,
Yes.
infamously. The siblings chain and the full family chain. A lot of jokes going on those chains, but
I also get the feeling.
oh, sorry, the
recently-
question's for me.
There is a family
I think
dynamic, as you
there's,
can tell.
like also chains that I'm not a part of.
Some sub chains that
yeah.
you got added to and then subtracted
Taken
from.
out. Yeah.
I'm still learning about WhatsApp. But we did, we shot the show in Australia. Everybody was very far from home, and so we really bonded as a family. There were a lot of dinners, there were a lot of trips to the mall, and just like kind of killing time and hanging
cabaret.
out.
Cabaret.
Yeah, go to the cabaret, courtesy of
Cabarets.
Sam
Yeah,
Neill.
big proponent for that.
And also just rehearsals and things like that. It was nice to have the time to build the characters together. I think that was a real gift that we had that at the start of the shoot.
Yes, I play Troy Delaney, and Amy and Troy are the eldest of the 4 Delaney siblings, and so while their paths and worldview are pretty divergent from one another, their experiences as like the older kids are pretty aligned, and so then there's, you get to see how they deal with the same feelings and discomfort in childhood as adults. And then you have the 2 younger siblings who have maybe a different experience, who also have dealt with it in different ways, but their vision of our parents and their relationship is a little different from what we went through. Tirelessly.
24/7.
Yeah.
We did a lot of tennis
We did.
training
We did a lot
for
of
the
tennis
show.
lessons. It was
Some of
fun.
us more than others. I would
So,
put
I think we all
myself
did the
on
same
one
amount.
end of the Well,
Some took to it more.
Let me
than
tell you, the first day I
Okay.
went to my tennis lesson in Australia, the top professional tennis player in Australia was my teacher. How
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
is that? I'm like, show me how to serve. And she served, and I was like, oh my God, it
4
was so
Grand
beautiful.
Slams she's
Sam
won.
Stosur.
Sam
Stosur.
Stosur.
Sam Stosur.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Well, I'd say one of that isn't a spoiler kicks off the show, which is at retirement. It's sort of you kind of held your whole life, like you've made these sacrifices for your family decade after decade, thinking they're going to be there for you.
Yeah, I would say one is that we can talk about is feeling underappreciated and unseen. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But not that I'm holding that resentment and bitterness, but yeah, I think Joy has some feelings around that of sort of being the invisible caretaker that everybody assumes is always there, and nobody kind of looks at me and says, wait a minute, how are you?
I think that, yes, that Amy is the black sheep of the family, and everybody looks at her as being this sort of stunted, emotional mess. And she is, and that's her secret. No, it's not a secret. She is, but there are things that have happened in her past that are even a little bit darker or more serious than people know. I think her family thinks of her emotionality a little bit as a joke, you know, like that it's sort of frivolous. And there's just a heavier quality to it when they find out some things from her past. What's your secret?
Careful.
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 Well,
Don't give it away.
it's so direct. It's a little hard to share what the secret
Not always
is. You know.
honorable.
What's that?
Not always honorable.
Yeah, not always in keeping with the person that he imagines himself to be. I think Troy's living in some delusion of being the white knight when that's not totally the story. Yeah, I think that's his.
Not the first man
Secret.
that's done that. Anyway.
But definitely the last. Which is good as well. Good to end that, you know? End the cycle.